Yeah, how you feeling?
Yeah, I know.
It kept getting worse and worse. I left and came.
I was driving.
What the fuck?
I couldn't fight back.
I left the meeting. I came back. I was like, "Yo, I just added him. What the fuck?"
I'm getting fucking destroyed in this goddamn thing. It's like,
Were you guys part of a group chat that you didn't even add me on? You bastards.
sorta.
Now look,
No, it sounds like it's a full on, man.
I didn't get
Totally.
invited to shit. I just ended up in it.
No, so a podcast group chat that I'm in, that had Keem, who was the last contestant.
Oh yeah.
And then they were all talking. They were like, and Reese is in there too, who will probably be the next contestant. They were like, yeah, add Kadeen in here. Add Kadeen in here. I was like, all right. So I added him, and then I texted Kadeen. I was like, well, good luck. And then just
Yesterday went fine.
And boom.
Yesterday was fine. There's like little talk here and there. I'm like giving a little shit, like cool little banter here and there, right?
Nah.
Then it's who's your picks for football. So I'm like in the NFC, I'm going Packers or Bears. In the AFC, I'm going Chiefs or Bills. Then today, out of nowhere, somebody replies to that, and then it just becomes this fucking. I felt like I was in seventh grade in DCPS. Trying to
you getting joned on.
I'm like, I'm driving. I'm in Baltimore driving today. And like I went to go pick up that box. And I'm driving and then shut up. And I'm
you went to get a box. I don't know what
they brought that up. They're like, you can't just pick up anybody on the corner on the east side. It's just like great. So it's just I'm just getting tracked. So like anytime I reply, I'm replying to something that I can finally reply to that's now 10 messages back. Because I'm driving, and it's like a 511. What the fuck is going on?
My favorite quote was, "I choose violence every time."
They're calling me with the female, the male version of Nunu from Atlanta from ATL.
Wow.
Oh god. Yeah.
They started making fun of my finances. It's just like, goddamn.
Yeah, it got real in there. I was like, oh, all right. I was like, look, well, KDot is from Baltimore.
I'm not from Baltimore. I just live in Baltimore.
KDot lives in Baltimore. I was like, he fucks with Griselda.
Didn't like, it sounded like James was the parent trying to get his kid to play with another kid?
All the languages in the world, and they chose hate. God damn.
I mean, Ryan, do you want to be added to this?
Hey, you come at the squad, you best come at all of us.
Yeah, the bunch of wire quotes, and Goodfellas is my favorite movie, and they ruined it for me.
Bring it on. Also a solid film.
That shit was funny. I can't wait to have Reese on here.
I can't wait to prepare for it.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was great. So 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to All Sorts of Sports, episode 48.
Steven Davis.
There has to be another 48.
Chris Horton.
Besides him.
Steven Davis. Here's the thing. You can't come to me not prepared with a number in a player.
I don't really care anymore.
Thank you.
Like, it's just going to be like a Washington football team history pod. Whatever.
Sort of.
Until they lose, and then those will go away.
Which will probably be tomorrow.
Your name says I want Tom, so
not this weekend.
Yeah, you said you want Tom.
I do.
Okay. Well,
in my bed.
I mean, I don't.
With your other box that you picked up too.
He's the GOAT. So.
Kadeem want the goat in his bed.
It makes for a great story.
Oh.
Nothing else. It's a good story.
All right, so we're gonna start this off by saying rest in peace,
prenup.
Tommy Lasorda.
Yeah.
This news came out today. Out of left field for me. I mean, like when you heard it, you're like, oh, like, all right, that kind of makes sense because it's been a while.
Yeah, he's 93.
Yeah, so
He was. But yeah, rest in peace, Hall of Famer. Obviously, with the historic years of the Los Angeles Dodgers before their wavering for decades. Great coach. Just he's a baseball guy. When you talk about like baseball guys, legends of the game. I mean, you think of a lot of Yankees players, and then the Dodgers, it's Tommy Lasorda. So heart attack in 93, bummer, but man, that is a long, very fruitful life. So rest in peace.
Yeah.
Rest in peace. And he was still out there throwing pitches at like 90. So absolute legend. Absolute legend. I hate the Dodgers, but I love me some Tommy Lasorda.
Same here. All right. So since we discussed a little bit of baseball, let's go into the other news because I didn't have it on the list, but your shirt, Ryan, reminded me of it. All right, so you look happy about the trade now. Before you didn't feel so happy.
Yeah, so when I first heard about the trade, so for anybody who hasn't heard, I don't know what rock you've been under, but the Mets traded with the Cleveland Indians to bring in the Mets now have superstar shortstop Lindor, and we also got a pitcher who came back from cancer last year in Carrasco, Cookie. And we traded away a number of prospects, including Andres Jimenez, who's a shortstop, Ahmed Rosario, who is not a prospect, but has really been struggling, Josh Wolf, who's a prospect pitcher who was an Indian, and also Isaiah Green, who was our second or third round draft pick this year. After I went and sat down and cooled off about the fact that I think Andres Jimenez is a 5-tool player and he's very good. It's fucking Francisco Lindor, like absolute superstar, can plug in, can play right now, can put up power numbers. Carrasco, who's a starting pitcher, who had a 2.1 ERA last year to go in between DeGrom if he comes back. I mean, not DeGrom, Syndergaard and DeGrom. He can be that filler guy, either 2 or 3. Man, the Mets made out like fucking bandits. It's a stupidly good trade for the Mets. So,
congratulations.
The Mets went from good to very good in one trade. So, like,
just looking up for the organization as a whole.
And one hire.
Yeah, and shortstop to me, shortstop and third base are the two most important positions. First base, they're going to be kind of gangly, not super fast, and that's what you expect. That's why you have a fielder behind him who's fast. The shortstop is probably the hardest position to play in baseball. And if you have a superstar shortstop, that makes your infield defense 1,000 times better. And that was our biggest problem last year, was infield defense. And we just shored up the most difficult position. So I'm stoked. I'm stoked.
Random question. Do you think Brandon Crawford is a superstar?
He was.
Okay. I thought the same.
Yeah, look, great player. There's not a team that wouldn't want him, but he's not of the same level as some of the other. He plays outfield, right? Where does Brandon Crawford? Is he a shortstop?
Yeah.
Oh, why do I feel like I've seen him in center field? But no, I mean, there's just some shortstops out there that you have to be able to move. I mean, he's good. I remember like 4 or 5 years ago in the wild card game, he had some stupid pick plays where he was like 4 feet deep picking it off the grass. Like, yeah, I think he's lost a step though. He's getting a little older. So
yeah, the whole Giants org as a whole is getting there. All right, so that's enough of baseball. Let's move into football because it's going to be a heavy football pod. So,
what a weekend we had.
But before we start with that, I want to talk about the biggest news that came out this week in my eyes. that has long-term effects. Deshaun Watson.
Big time.
A lot of this started when at the end of the season, you see J.J. Watt and Deshaun Watson walking off the field, and J.J. Watt says, it's caught on camera, I'm sorry we wasted one of your years, right?
Yep.
And then it was reported that Deshaun was talking to like some of his close friends, like bringing up the idea like, hey, if I decide to request a trade, it's not because of you, but I just got to get out of here.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, once that news broke, why you send a picture? Okay.
Don't worry about it. You'll figure it out.
All right. Once that news broke, then it was everybody's like, oh shit. All right. What if he goes to the Wift? What if he goes to the Patriots? What if he goes to the Jets? What if he goes to the Niners? What if he goes to the Raiders? All this other stuff. What do you guys think? Like, where should he go?
Where should he go, or what do I think? Let me start with what I think.
Okay.
As far as before we get into the whole destination dream talks, okay? The way that I've always thought about when it comes to NFL teams, you have the owner, you have what would be the team president, you have the GM or everything else, the same way you do in any sort of business organization. There is no more important position in football when it comes to the players than quarterback. And if you have a quarterback that is your franchise quarterback, a quarterback has done all the right things, a quarterback that is in everybody's regard as a top 5 talent in the league, and you've done nothing but strip away all the weapons and everything from him. He's the first one in, the last one out, supposed to be one of the biggest, best teammates you could possibly have. And he produces even with the shit you put around him. He has to be a part of the conversation. And he made it known that after the Bill O'Brien thing, he wanted to be a part of it. He's not saying, I want to pick who does X, Y, and Z, but yo, after you guys let go of Hopkins, like let me have my voice be known. And they didn't do anything with him. They just hired Nick Caserio, who was one of the head scouts up in New England, a guy that they've wanted for a few years. I even think Bill O'Brien wanted him, being a Bill as one of those disciples. They never talked to him at all. And now he's returned a favor, apparently, in the sense of the organization's apparently trying to get him on the phone and he's not answering. I don't blame him. You can't decide to do everything without me.
Even
and then
when he brought up like options.
Right. And you completely, it's the same way that if you have a CEO or anything, if you're not taking care of management in your company, the supervisors, everybody else, to make them feel as though they're at least being heard a little bit, even the aura of being heard, you might not even really be doing, but at least give them the satisfaction of making them believe that you are. Mm-hmm. I don't blame him not one bit, because JJ's right. You're wasting his best years with bullshit. So he's now turned into, I can't think of in the NFL a bigger name ever that is unhappy with the situation and is looking like he might go in a position of forcing a trade. This is beyond anything on a Randy Moss level. This is beyond anything else that we've seen. The Jamal Adams, none of it. It dwarfs all of it. You're talking about a top 5 quarterback that hasn't reached his prime, that wants out. There's not an NFL team other than Kansas City and Seattle.
Chargers.
No, I'm not taking the Chargers out of it. I would say the Packers. Beyond those, you're at least trying to hear what it is that they want.
No, if you're the Chargers, no.
I don't care what you're talking about. A top 5 proven guy. I'm not saying you're actually going to put the wheels in motion to make it happen, but you're listening, because there's anybody. If the Chargers get if Houston says, "Hey, LA, we love this Herbert guy you got, right? We want him from you. And we want him straight up." I don't think that'll be the case, but I'm saying if they even offered that, if you're the Chargers, you'd be an idiot not to at least contemplate it. Because Herbert has shown in 1 year that he's been really, really good. There's a lot of other players that have shown in 1 year that they're really, really good. It doesn't necessarily translate into something being good the next year. Deshaun Watson is now already a proven commodity in the NFL, at the hardest position to be a proven commodity in. Do you see the numbers he put up this year with shit around him?
Mm-hmm.
The dude can ball on a level at which nobody.
What's his contract?
A lot of guys to do. That's another thing with his contract is I think he's got 5 years left on the deal, but the way that it's structured, as far as the way that I think they front loaded it, it's fairly easy to get rid of, and it doesn't put a lot of teams in this really, really terrible situation in order to do it. I think you'd be an idiot not to. Even if I'm even coming back on the Green Bay thing, if you're Green Bay and you see Aaron Rodgers now getting up in age, regardless of how great he is, if you've got a guy that's in his 20s that could be the franchise guy for the next 10, 15 years, you'd be an idiot not to think about it.
All right, yeah, so they did draft a quarterback this year, Jordan Love, I think.
All right, so 2021 is 10 million. It's a 15 million cap hit. 2022, 40 million. 2023, 42. 2024, 37. 2025, 32.
Which for talent, it's not bad.
Look, that's the same kind of money Kirk Cousins was asking for, and Kirk Cousins hadn't done shit. Like we're talking about Deshaun Watson. And you're talking about locking him in on a deal that's already kind of the top-ish tier. Dude, in 2 years, that 40 million is going to be 60. It for that caliber of a quarterback, you'd be insane.
Justin Herbert's cap hit is 4 million.
Right, but we don't know if he's going to play well next year. I'm saying he proved himself for the last 14 weeks.
If they keep Pep Hamilton,
Deshaun Watson
he's going to be even better.
Has
James,
balled out.
Before we get into an argument that doesn't need to happen, which happens a lot with us.
Yeah.
What I'm explaining to you is that if I'm LA, depending on what's asked, and I'm sure they're going to ask a lot, I'm probably not pulling the trigger because I like Herbert. And if they want Herbert in a first and a second and this, that, and the other, no chance.
Let's make it easier. Let's make it San Francisco, who has Jimmy Garoppolo.
Right.
Yeah. Garoppolo's out.
My point, the only point that I was making is that I don't know any team in the NFL that wouldn't consider themselves better off just because of his talent. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Like if you're saying just like in a vacuum for next year.
Right. Okay. For having that contract and knowing that production is coming to you.
For the next decade.
You have to listen.
No, we're talking about just the next year. Because like I said, and like has been proven over and time over again, excluding Tom Brady, who you're going to see on Sunday or Saturday, whenever you play him.
When you guys are watching this episode today.
Okay, so when you have a rookie QB, that is your window.
No, remember we've discussed this. Tom. We've discussed this. It's not just excluding Tom. If we go back through it, Drew Brees. It's a lot. It's a lot of other. Hold on. Here's the thing. Here's the difference. What we want to talk about is not on the rookie deal. It's what percentage of your salary is your quarterback.
Yeah.
So fair. It's that's not. Fair. So, but the thing is that if you're looking at a Kansas City who has a Patrick Mahomes, regardless of whatever percentage of the salary cap it is, you're going to do whatever it takes to keep him on your team because him alone is enough to drive your wins.
Well, we clearly see that Deshaun Watson's not enough.
He's not. But the thing is that when you're looking at a lot of the reasons why they've been bad this year, other than not having the weapons, he's gotten the yards and everything there. He hasn't turned the ball over a lot.
I think he led the league in yards, right?
Yeah, 4,800 yards. The other than Will Fuller, name 2 other wide receivers on this squad.
You
got to think about it.
Brandon Cooks.
My point was that most people got to think about it. Like my thing is that and Brandon Cooks overall. I mean, DeAndre. I'm not shitting on Brandon Cooks. Don't get me wrong. I'm not shitting on Brandon Cooks.
Come on.
I'm not shitting on Brandon Cooks.
All right.
I'm saying that overall, when you're looking at a team, majority of where it is that they struggled the most was on defense this year. But to have Deshaun Watson means you have somebody that's a perennial all-pro every year. And if you put certain talent around that man, you're going to be in the conversation.
And I think the biggest issue here that we're kind of glossing over is that the front office, even after Deshaun Watson vocally said, I want to be included in these decisions, didn't include him in these decisions.
Even after you gave them options.
Look, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of superstars who will go and talk shit and talk to the media and talk to their friends, but they won't openly talk. He went to them and was like, hey,
yeah,
I'm here. Like that shit pissed me off, but I'm still going to go throw for 4,800 yards this year. Please help me help you. And they were like, nah, fuck you. If I was him, I would want out immediately, and I don't blame him. This is one of those if he forces a trade, good.
Yeah.
Good. He did everything the right way, and they still said, go fuck you.
And
it's like even deeper than that.
Yeah, look at the ownership.
But they go from Bob McNair, who says inmates run the asylum, to now you have a guy who says after he's experiencing and seeing that, hey, I want to be a part of the conversation. And basically what they've done through action is shut up, boy, just throw the football. And if you're him, I know my jersey is the number one, if not number two, selling jersey that you're making all your revenue out of. I know that you don't give a shit about my career, thus you got rid of all the talent around me. So you're going to drive me to the ground, but at least you're going to sell tickets. Fuck off. Mm-hmm. Like, you couldn't even try to entertain me.
Yeah.
You can't even attempt to entertain me. I want nothing to do with you. This is so far removed than like a James Harden or a Jimmy Butler even trying to get out of a situation. This is, you have shown you have zero respect or aptitude for me. So I'm out.
And and the thing when you think about Jimmy Butler,
unlike Jimmy Butler or Harden, he didn't create the situation. Like Harden wanted out, but he wanted out because he wanted out, and he wanted out, and so he made the issue. Deshaun Watson didn't make the issue that made him want out. He just wanted to be involved in the conversations for the pieces that were put like who I think you guys can put in. Then you guys make the decision, but just let me know so that my voice can be heard, because it's going to be me tossing to these people. It's going to be me talking to the GM who's making the decisions on who I'm playing with. I just want to be in that conversation. He didn't make any of the problem. They did. They exacerbated it, and I hope he leaves.
Yep.
And I think the biggest thing is what you opened this entire segment with, which was the fact that when we can say it really started, and I think what was really extremely telling is what you heard J.J. Watt talk to him about. Then if you also couple that with what J.J. Watt said to the media about the team and how people aren't doing what they're supposed to do, why? If you're Deshaun Watson and you see that and you're doing everything you can do, among everybody that talks about, he's the consummate leader, especially when it comes to I'm in the trenches with you and I'm doing the work. Mm-hmm. If no one else is going to rally around that man, he's got to get out of there. In Houston right now, since the Bob McNair thing, is rivaled at the top of the league by one of the most disorganized and dysfunctional front offices and ownership in the league. And I say that as a person who's a fan of a team that knows and exudes that up until this year.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's sad when you have such vocal leaders and phenomenal football players on both sides of the ball. They have J.J. Watt and Deshaun Watson. They have both of them.
Yeah.
And they can't get it together. And obviously it's not an issue with leadership on the field, it's leadership higher up, because
and that's what Deshaun said.
They had DeAndre Hopkins. They had Tyrann Mathieu. They had all these guys. Bill O'Brien.
Tyrann Mathieu just made All-Pro too.
What the fuck are you doing?
So, I got a question. I'll ask each of you.
Honey Badger.
No.
I know him as Honey Badger.
All right, Ryan, you're Deshaun Watson. Where do you go? You get to pick.
So if I'm Deshaun Watson, I'm hanging out for a second, because a lot of the places where I would most likely fit in the best have not yet hired a new head coach.
Okay.
Where would I want to go?
Yes, and let's say you get to pick the head coach too. So who would be your head coach and where you go?
I don't think anybody's given that much control, but okay.
No. But I'm saying in this situation, because if you think about it,
I would probably end up.
It kind of work.
If it was a possibility, I would end up in Indianapolis.
Indy? That's never happening. Texas wouldn't. All right, but I see what you're saying. Okay.
If I'm forcing this trade, and I get to go wherever the fuck coach? I want.
Same guy that's there now?
Yeah.
Okay. What about you?
Actually, Carson Wentz to Frank Wright in Indianapolis is probably going to happen. But
that's probably more real.
If I'm looking at the salary cap space around the league too, and this is going to sound like I'm being a homer, but if I'm being completely honest, I'm looking at the situation. I think Washington's actually a really good fit. I say that being that you know that the defense is going to be there. And you also know that they have a few weapons on offense. The offensive line actually did a really good job this year if you look at the rankings.
Brandon Scherf, first team All-Pro.
Yeah, and if you're beyond that, you're also looking at the fact that even if they do come and get me, I'm going to have a window in which there are a few guys that don't need contracts just yet, and they're going to be able to go out and give me some more weapons on offense.
Number one receiver, number one running back. Both on their rookie deal for another 2.
If you're looking at a situation where the free agency when it comes to wide receiver, if you're telling me I'm Deshaun Watson, I get Washington's defense, Antonio Gibson in the backfield, I got Terry McLaurin, Logan Thomas who's actually turned into something, and potentially an Allen Robinson who's a free agent.
Yeah.
Why? And you have a head coach.
Kenny Galladay.
You have a head coach in Ron Rivera that he's had issue with, but it's a dude that, stylistically, he was okay with Cam Newton. And he let Cam Newton kind of cook the way that he wanted to cook.
And you see the culture that he's cultivating in Washington.
How would you make that trade though?
If I'm Washington?
Yeah.
Picks.
Anyone not named Chase Young, Terry McLaurin, or Antonio Gibson is available. Beyond that, you can take my entire draft this year, and I'll give you another number one pick. Because at the end of the day, if I'm looking at that squad right now, with Deshaun Watson on this team, you see that we just barely made the playoffs. But with the defense that we have, if there was a Deshaun Watson that could push the ball down the field this year, where do you think we would have been? We would have ran away with the NFC East.
Yeah.
Easily. And if you're looking at that, I'm looking at that through a prism of if I can get that for the next 5-6 years until some of these contracts start coming out, because you look at that defense, there's a lot of guys that are still in those rookie deals. Mm-hmm. And there are a lot of guys as far as there are a few teams in the NFL that know how to do salary cap magic better than the Washington football team. Very few. The fact that we were able to pay all this money for the guys over the years that didn't pan out to anything and never really affected us going out there and doing it again.
$100 million for Albert Hansworth.
I know. I don't know why I brought his name up.
Look.
You didn't bring up his name.
Deshaun Watson is only $40 million. They spent $100.
So I rest my case. But other than Washington, I think
it wasn't $100 a year.
It wasn't. But I'm saying as far as Deshaun, but it was really a lot guaranteed. I'll never forget. It's still the same. I've said the story on the same podcast. The reason I will always hate Deion Sanders, even though he was 100% right, was after we signed him and they asked him, "Did you ever regret going to Washington?" He said, "No. Dan Snyder paid for the west wing of my house, and I didn't really have to do much. So fuck him for that." But that's what we do. But with the question you posed to Ryan that I was supposed to answer was, if I'm Deshaun Watson, where would I want to go? Well, Washington's up there high on the list. Yeah. I also think Indianapolis, if it's just in a vacuum, is a wonderful situation to go to too.
And also, in a vacuum, let's assume Jimmy G, because he's been hurt for fucking ever, and they cannot find a good, serviceable quarterback. Yeah. I don't know what their cap space looks like, but that is also a very decent defense. And also, if I'm Deshaun Watson, I'm looking at what the Steelers have going on in terms of Big Ben looking like he's aging out. A very, very good team run by a very, very good coach.
Yeah, that's good.
We are glossing over the one that makes probably the most sense as far as just from a league history standpoint, which is New England. And in the sense
don't you do that to me.
If I'm Deshaun Watson and I look at New England,
don't you shut your fucking mouth. Don't you do that.
He's like, look, we'll give you
because Bill Belichick's going to watch this and he's going to be like,
I'll give you our GM if you give us Deshaun Watson.
Pretty much. And but if you're Deshaun and you say, hey, I want an organization. I mean, here's the thing. If you're talking about an organization actually going to care about what you say, it's not necessarily Bill that's going to do that.
Although Bill Belichick didn't work so well with a mobile quarterback or a semi-mobile quarterback this year. So
Cam Newton is not Deshaun Watson.
Shut the fuck up.
he's not Deshaun Watson.
You're trying so hard to make this not make sense.
Hey, this is the first year in the history of my life where there's two teams that I like in the playoffs at the same time. No, in any of my sports. Any sports.
What about Tampa Bay?
Fuck Tampa Bay. Why would I like Tampa Bay for anything?
No. Not saying Tampa Bay. But Deshaun Watson, Tampa Bay next year. If Brady retires.
Brady's coming back.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, I put it like a 95% chance.
Eating like embryos and fucking like running with bands attached to his ass. Like he's in this for another year before he completely loses it and gets fat.
But here's the thing. But he's not. Look, usually we see a drop off when it comes to age. He played better than he has in the last like 6 years.
He broke the record for most yards over 8 quarters in the history of football.
I'm saying, look at the weapons he got now.
I don't care. Regardless of whatever it is, I get it. But you have other quarterbacks that got older with weapons that can't do what he's doing. Case in point, Drew Brees.
Remember when we were a couple weeks ago, we were like, oh, is he fighting with the coach? Is he going to last through and then he does this.
And the thing is, I still criticize Tom Brady's deep ball, and the motherfucker's been on point with everything.
He had 500 yards in 3 straight games. Kill me.
All right. Let's move on. All right. So the last thing we got for the pod, this episode for the pod, is our review of the games that are happening tomorrow. All right. So the first game on the slate, Ryan, Colts versus Bills. So I know for a fact that you'll be up before 1 o'clock.
Hey,
you're going to be up early drinking.
I know. He's tailgating his
I'm not even drinking. This is fucking fake booze.
You're prepared for tomorrow.
This is like apple juice and Sprite. It's fucking terrible. I don't know if you can tell by my complexion, but I haven't had a drink in a week. It sucks. I hate it. But I will be up probably drinking tomorrow.
I will try to be up with you.
I don't know how you do it. When I saw a motherfucker storm the Capitol, I was like, I need a drink. And I don't drink.
I saw that, but it was later in the day, and I had just been in court watching actual, real, other terrible people. I'm like, oh, they're everywhere. So the Bills' biggest issue, and it has been for the majority of the season, is their defense starts slow in stopping the run.
Can't do that this time.
What the Colts do better than anything is run the ball.
Yeah.
I think if it goes to a shootout, the Bills can score in 30 seconds. Josh Allen is very good through the air. So if it comes to a shootout, I think the Bills edge it. But if we can't, if the Bills can't stop the run, it's going to be a nail biter.
Yep.
Because here's the thing. Colts secondary, questionable. Bill strength, thrown ball. But if they can control the clock, as we've said before, if they can control the clock by running the ball, it's going to be a much closer game than I wanted to. So, but I'm still picking the Bills to win.
Yeah, but this time, what we're going to do is I want you to tell me a score.
Wait, we already picked all these games.
Yeah, we picked the games, but you didn't tell me a score.
Huh. 42-27 Bills.
Okay.
I actually think the Bills are the best. They're the team in the playoffs right now playing the overall best football. I think right now the only thing that gives me any pause concern, as it does anytime, is a young quarterback in the playoffs. It's different. Josh Allen, that being said, has this weird demeanor that I trust him, like just to be able to get the thing done.
Sweet mustache, bro.
If I had to pick a score, I honestly think I think the Bills are looking to prove something. Jonathan Taylor, I love him. I've talked about him numerous times on the podcast this year. I love dude. He was on my fantasy team. Final score, let me go 30-20 Bills.
30-20. All right.
Jonathan Taylor Thomas. He used to be famous, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going 35-27 Bills. I had it at 35-17 Bills, but then as you were talking about Jonathan Taylor, I added 10 more points.
Yeah, if they can't stop him, it's going to be a long game.
All right, so the next game we got to discuss is the Rams and Seahawks.
So,
go ahead.
You want to go?
I can go. Who did I pick? I don't even remember.
You picked
because this is a huge toss-up in there. Yeah, it is just because of Russell Wilson at this point. The final score in this game, I don't really have a lot to say. It's a division matchup. These guys they just play hard together. I think it's always just a toss-up in the playoffs when you're going against a division rival. Give me Seattle 24, Rams 17.
Okay. What about you, Ryan?
That was very close to what my final score. I think I picked the Rams.
Yes, he did.
I think they're being very coy on who's starting. I'm assuming it's gonna be Jared Goff. If they had announced that it wasn't Jared Goff, they would have done that already. And the fact they haven't said anything leads me to believe that he's fine. I haven't been sold on Russell Wilson this year. He's been really hot and cold. And that defense is atrocious. So I'm going to give the Rams a 27-21 victory.
27-21 Rams?
Some field goals.
I'm going 45-17 Seahawks.
Wow.
Very bullish.
There is a guy on the Rams defense, two of them actually, that will probably disagree with you, but that's okay.
Oh, sure. As they should. But
I'm also predicting Russell Wilson throws 2 interceptions.
All right. The next game, KDot, we'll start with you. Bucks versus Wift.
Give me
the objective.
I am.
Okay.
20-17 Wift.
Okay.
And I say 20-17 knowing that at least one of those scores is on defense. I think that if they score above 20 points, we're done. They have a good defense. It's going to be about Alex Smith just not turning the ball over and us having to get into Tom Brady's face. Like I've always said, Tom, I think I was looking at his QBR this year. Without pressure is 80-something. With pressure, it goes down to 6. If we can get that pressure, and I think the biggest thing is those interior linemen, Jonathan Allen. Hey, I'm sorry, but our robot vacuum Steve decided to turn on as we're talking about whip.
Steve!
And
God damn it, Steve!
He knows his bullshit.
She just tried to beat the shit out of him. So
I heard it too.
Yeah,
Steve.
Put Steve in the box.
Hey, that's the name of the robot. That's the name of the robot dog in Up. I am Steve. Oh no, it's the monkey from fucking Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Jonathan
Steve.
Allen and Daron Payne have to have a monster game as far as interior pressure. We can get guys to come around the side, but what Tom Brady is extremely good at doing is moving up in the pocket. And if he's moving up in the pocket and we just got Chase Young 4 feet behind him all game, it's going to be a long day for us. So it's all about they got to get pressure up the middle. Some of those middle linebackers blitzing up the middle.
Was that Holcomb?
Cole Holcomb, some of those guys getting them on a blitz. We got to hit Tom.
Okay. So, Ryan, what about you? What do you think?
I don't think it's going to be that close. I looked up, and I know this is recent history, but it's older Tom Brady history. Tom Brady is 1-6 in prime time. I think the running game gets going, which was kind of lost a little bit last week against the Eagles. I'm predicting a final score of 30-17 with. I also think Tom Brady is going to get benched in the third quarter to bring in their third string quarterback to see how he's going to do next year. A la Eagles.
So Bruce Arians wants to get fired. Got it.
Hey, man, it's the easiest way to get out of Tampa Bay.
All right, so I'm going to 52-10 or 52-14. 52-14.
Here's the thing. It could easily go that way.
No,
I'm not even mad.
That's not even disrespectful.
I feel like it is, and I feel bad for it.
Look,
I'm a fan. I'm telling you, I don't think it's
only because like when you talk about getting pressure, right? You got the hot routes, and you got AB now. if Mike Evans plays, he can still even be a decoy. You got Godwin and AB.
That's why I said the front four. It has to only be the front four. If we've got to constantly bring other guys in to make it happen, it's going to be a long day.
But then you got Gronk, who earlier this season admitted that he's now a blocking tight end. So you can keep him in. And then, like,
Chase Young is blocking Gronk out of this universe.
Give me Chase Young and Montez Sweat over Gronk.
Yeah, I understand that. But
they're gonna bring.
They should never have Chase Young 1-on-1 versus anybody.
I'm just saying it helps us. The reason I'm feeling so bullish on Washington right now is just because of how many guys we can rotate. We're still forgetting Ryan Kerrigan can still come in at any point in time if they need some. Not to mention the looks. We could have 3 defensive ends on the goddamn field at once. Like we could do a lot of things. And one thing that I don't think people are giving enough credit for, Jack Del Rio can get really, really creative at certain points in time. And I think he's been kind of holding it in recently. But I wouldn't be surprised if you see some like outlandish shit from our defense at certain points.
Yeah, line up Montez Sweat and number 99 right next to each other.
Stand them all up and put them on the sides. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
How are you gonna quad block the left side of the line? Let me see it.
I am predicting Cam Curl has a big game.
He's been balling.
So is a better defensive back to Jeremy Chin, but whatever.
No. All right. Ravens versus Titans.
Titans 35-21. Derrick Henry has 500 yards in the ground.
Did I take the Titans or the Ravens in this one?
You took the Ravens.
You
still you got to switch if you want.
No, I'm going to stick with that. It's going to be a lot of running in that game, which is going to burn a lot of clock. I'm going. I'm going to go 24-20 Ravens.
Okay.
Could easily be 50-48.
Yeah, I'm going to go 35-28 Ravens.
Here's the thing. A lot of these picks, I'm kind of rooting for the opposite thing to happen. Like the Ravens, I'd like to see Lamar get his groove back, and like really go off. I think it'd be great for the city I live in.
It'd be great for Dez too.
Yeah, it'd be awesome to see Dez get something. Even though I hated him for years.
He should probably call Stella and get some advice.
That's immediately what I thought of. Thank you.
I legit hate you.
All right, it's cool. I hate me too. It's fine.
God damn it. All right. So moving on to the Bears versus Saints.
Absolute blowout.
On whose side?
Saints.
Okay.
48-17.
48-17. All right.
45-17. 48 is a little extreme.
Watch the kick a field goal at the end of the game.
I know. I'd be pissed.
All right, KDot, what about you?
Give me the Bears.
Yep, you had them Bears.
26-20. What they played earlier this year, and it was Taysom, I think, that started that game, if I'm not mistaken. It went to overtime. I actually think I think this is going to be the end for Drew. I got Chicago was my Super Bowl pick last year. I understand on paper it looks like Alvin Kamara and those guys should have a field day with Chicago. I think Mitchell Trubisky actually does something this year. I think he's trending upward. And I really think if I'm looking at Drew Brees, he's trending down. I think there is going to be a case to be made at a certain point in the game that you're going to have people saying Taysom should be in.
Or Jameis.
Or Jameis, but nobody's really. I mean, or Jameis. I like Jameis. Oh. But I don't think you're going to hear people calling for that as much as Taysom Hill because of the success they had with him when they already had him in there. But it took him to overtime. I
wouldn't be surprised if there are quite a number of packages where Taysom Hill is in there. It's the offs, baby. This is the offs.
And when Alvin Kamara, and I'll say this, when Alvin Kamara played them in that game, I'm looking at it, it looks like, no, Drew Brees played. Taysom has got a score. They held Kamara in check, not receiving-wise. He had a good receiving game, but he did not run great. I mean, they didn't run him that much.
42-10 Saints.
Okay.
I'm like, Michael Thomas is back.
Alvin Kamara had 6 touchdowns like a week and a half ago.
Yeah. He won a lot. I know. Trust me, I know. But we had him on our team, and our team was trash. Our defense was ass. He was there, like.
I like Chicago a lot, man.
Yeah, me too.
Good. I think it's rated the best. Still rated the best food in the country. Comes out of Chicago.
The Greek town of Chicago alone is worth it.
I mean, they invented the deep dish pizza. It's fucking delicious.
And the Euro that most people eat in America is a Chicago-style Euro.
Yes.
Final game. We got the Browns versus Steelers.
Ooh.
Ryan, you want to change your pick?
Did I take Browns?
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay. I'll go 30 to 24. 30-24 Steelers.
I have the Steelers in this game too, right?
Yep.
Give me the Steelers 17-10.
Okay.
I'm rooting for Cleveland hardcore too. I just think that it's another heartbreak thing. I look at two cities in these playoffs right now that just know nothing but heartbreak, Buffalo and Cleveland. And I'm hoping the tides turn for them. But I think Cleveland, the gods are not looking in their favor as leading up to this game. And Buffalo, I think they got the best shot. It's just about whether or not Josh Allen's ready.
Isn't it?
31-28 Browns.
31-28 Browns. What's his name? Baker?
Yep.
I'm looking
John
up his
Baker.
I'm looking up his contract. Because he's still in his rookie deal.
Yeah. Should be coming up soon, though.
Yeah, and they did a lot of shit. All right, this year's cap hit is $9 million, next year's $10 million.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're gonna try to extend him, like this offseason.
Extend them, let Odell walk, and some other things.
I don't think
or force Odell to walk or get traded. Because, I mean, they're doing what it is they're doing, and they actually look better as an offense without Odell on the field. It doesn't make sense to wrap up that much as far as your salary cap in a guy who – I love Odell. I'm hoping Odell plays in Washington.
I hope he plays for us.
I don't think there's a team in this entire country that wouldn't want Odell on their team. Yeah, minus the
his cap hit's $14 million. I'm like,
that's cheaps.
Yeah, Odell come on the team, and he's a unrestricted free agent in 2024. So, I mean,
Deshaun Watson, Odell Beckham, come on to Washington, baby.
We have less racism than we did.
We wouldn't have for both. I didn't hear what you said. So
you didn't want to hear that.
I'm glad I missed it. I'll get it when I'm editing.
Shit! Yeah, that would be nice.
And then I will be getting it.
We won't have a draft pick for the next 6 years if we can pull both of those things off.
Yeah, but is that worth it though?
Yep.
For OBJ too.
If I get OBJ and Deshaun Watson on the Washington football team,
Deshaun Watson, I understand. But
I'm saying, if I can get both of those guys, regardless of what it costs, if you told me that I couldn't draft the next, let's keep it fairly realistic. Right. It's not realistic at all, but let's say 3 years. I couldn't draft another player for the next 3 years. Do I take it? Yes, because we'll win a Super Bowl, and then we won't win again for another decade, which would be my life.
That's all he wants is one.
I just want one. I just want a Super Bowl before I die. That's it. I don't care.
All right.
Well, you could dissolve the franchise afterwards. I wouldn't give a fuck.
You could set it on fire.
I'll be a Baltimore Ravens fan. I don't give a fuck. Let's just go. Give me a goddamn championship. I want a parade to go to.
All right. Well, that's the end of it. Y'all have final thoughts?
I
guess KDot, you want to go last?
Yeah, I'll go last.
Oh yeah. So the Caps play their first game on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
I watched, as I had said, I had watched the World Juniors. The U.S. was victorious over the Canadians. The U.S. beat the shit out of Canada. I don't know why I said it like that. But both teams had some Caps players on it. And speaking of the Caps, Henrik Lundqvist had his heart surgery today or yesterday. He was successful. He is recovering and he is at home. So ups to him. Other than that, man, big sports weekend. I hope I survive it.
Yep. All right. I guess my final thought would be, I know a lot of talk is about Eric Bieniemy in our circles about like who's next and who deserves a shot and who has deserved a shot for a while now. Another name that people don't talk about too much is Pep Hamilton. You know who? Do y'all know where he is now?
Wasn't he our head coach in XFL for a sec?
No, right now he was the QB coach for the Chargers.
Oh,
that's what he's doing currently.
He should probably stay because they have a good quarterback there.
No, we saw he was the head coach of the DC Defenders in the XFL.
Yeah, or he could be the head coach of the Chargers.
Oh. Well, again, the Chargers' biggest issue was their defense, and I don't know whether putting another super offensive-minded person.
I mean, they were damn near injured half the year.
No, I get it.
So it's kind of like it was like freak injuries too. So you bring the team back, you have another year with your star rookie QB, and like they won 7 games, and they lost a bunch off of stupid mistakes. So now it's like everybody's healthy. You have another year, more experience. Boom.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd agree with it. I loved what I'm an XFL guy. I love what he was doing in DC. I love the name when they said that he was going to be our head coach. I was very ecstatic about that. He has the pedigree. He has the resume. I remember complaining last episode about position guys getting to be the head guy. But Pep Hamilton's career, he's been an offensive coordinator for good teams. He's been a quarterback's coach, which is the most important position in football. The dude knows what he's doing, and he's been all around the offensive side of the ball, and he's been the head guy. So I give him I wish his name was more spoken about. On every coaching list I see, he's not there. But I do think that's a name that you're going to see start propping up a bit more as time goes on, especially if he develops another quarterback the way he did. I mean, if you look at his offense coordinator 2013 to 2015, and he was at Stanford and the offense coordinator quarterback's coach, Andrew Luck. Like it's
post him again with the Colts.
Know.
That's what I'm saying. It's just legit.
Andrew Luck destroyed Virginia Tech in that bowl game. Fucking trees. What a stupid mascot. Fucking tree. Fuck your tree.
Another person is Hugh Jackson. Like, I think he deserves another shot as well. But one last, I guess, final thought. I had this, one of my friends was trying to debate with me in regards to it, even though I had I didn't really care. It was, who would you say is a better prospect coming out of college? Trevor Lawrence or Andrew Luck?
Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
All right, cool. He said the same. But he said, he heard a lot of people, quote unquote, debating him on it. So
yeah, Andrew Luck is 1, football smart, and 2, smart.
Yeah, but they also said
and just a good.
And there was nobody at Stanford before him. But with Trevor Lawrence, he had a whole era.
Well, the thing with Andrew Luck is he didn't have a big head about how good he was. He was just really good.
Yeah,
and I don't know enough about Trevor Lawrence other than his play on the field. I don't think he's had any off the field issues that I know of.
No.
But just look, Andrew Luck went to Stanford and was a finance whatever.
His father was Oliver Luck.
He's a genius who's playing football, and I would want that 100 times out of 100 because those are guys who you coach, but they're also coaching you a little bit. And plus, look at when he retired. He's like, my body's breaking down. I'm done.
The pedigree is what you look at as far as a guy that's been installed to be an NFL quarterback from the day he was born. I think it's the same way that everybody's thinking about the young Manning right now in high school. It's one of those guys where he's just going to be great. And if you also look at what he was able to do in college, I mean, there was another quarterback who was an all-time great college quarterback that got ran out of Stanford, which was RG3. So, I mean, at the end of the day, give me Andrew Luck as one of the – Andrew Luck and Peyton Manning to me were the 2 best quarterback prospects I've ever seen in my life. So,
all right. Well, that's all I got.
All right.
Turn the floor over to Tom.
Oh, yeah.
Well, my final thoughts are going to be a little different. I want to say thank you. This is my thank you segment. I want to say thank you, especially to my fan club. They're a group of guys on Twitter that James was able to introduce me to. You've met some of them on the pod itself as time goes on, and we're going to meet more. I mean, I would say that as far as fan clubs go, I wasn't necessarily shooting for this demographic, which is suburbanite black dudes that talk about bowling alleys and shit. I don't quite understand how I fall in this realm. I think some of them kind of dabble sexually in some really weird shit. I don't know. I'm just getting a lot of regressed feelings coming out. But I do appreciate them being fans, as hardcore as they are. Now, if you were to do me a favor, gentlemen, this is going to be more of a visual medium for people at home. I'll make sure I blow these up here on the screen itself. But I just wanted to go through and talk about how thankful I was about a couple of these guys individually. But girlfriend is not a fan of me doing this. All right, so
yeah, so just let it go.
I'm a fan.
First time I want to talk about is you flip through these photos is a guy named Reese. Now, if you look at Reese's Twitter bio, he shows a link for this show called The Reese Show. But when you click on it, it says that it doesn't exist, as you'll see here on the screen, which I would tell you, Reese, just because nobody listens to your shitty little podcast does not mean that you have to take it down off of Twitter. Be proud of your little followers, okay? You don't have to wait until you get big to put your stuff out on social media. I understand, I get it. We're a fledgling podcast too, but come on, man, have a little more dignity. I believe in you. As a fan, as you being a fan of me, I just want to impart that wisdom to you, Reese. You got it, buddy. You got it, and I'm rooting for you, son.
And he took this personally.
Now, the next guy up is Fred. Now, Fred, I just want to tell you, I know your life's been hard enough because your name is Fred, so I'm just going to leave you alone. I mean, you're Fred. It's 2021. You're a black guy named Fred? Come on. Never mind. I'll leave that alone, too. All right, now this one, the stocky loved one. I don't know who this guy is, but I do see, as you can read here on the quote, every negative is a positive. The bad things that happen to me, I somehow make them good. That means you can't do anything to hurt me. He's also artist management, which also means that probably what he's doing is in somebody's DMs right now trying to trade little, whatever. You know, I'm not going to get into detail. I'm not going to blow his whole spot up. But this is definitely looking at his bio up here as far as the Lamborghinis and the stuff. I mean, I would just say, I hope that book, The Secret's really working out for you, the stocky loved one, in the sense that if you think about it just hard enough, maybe it'll come true. Just maybe it'll come true.
Oh, this last one's going to be good.
All right, so now at the end of the day, we also got my man who came on the show here with us, and I loved him for it. It was a great conversation, my man Keem. Now, I would just say in this Twitter bio photo, your profile pic, where the fuck are you? Is this a tiki bar? Is it like a Tuesday night? Why is it empty? Why are you wearing a fake Versace shirt? Why is there Chinese writing? I'm so fucking confused, guy. Just pick something with some sort of meaning. But once again, I appreciate my fan club. I really do. I hope each and every one of you come on here and debate me. I mean, I do know that it didn't go so well for me on Twitter today. And this is not sour grapes or anything like that. I just wanted to let you guys know how much I appreciate you and I thank you. Everything you say about me does nothing but build character. And hopefully all those fat jokes will make me hit the gym at some point in 2021. Thank you so much, guys.
Oh, wait. I think with all that being said, and you know,
go ahead and say the Death Star went boom. Like, the shit already blew up, man.
No. I would say that after also listening to those guys on Twitter, I would impart this one last thing here for you. Go home and get your fucking shine box. You pricks.
Did y'all talk about this shit beforehand or something?
Who?
You and Ryan.
No.
Oh.
They came at the king.
This is what I do.
They came at the shit talking king of the country. All right. Well, KDot, anything here in conclusion that we missed?
I mean, other than that, the Death Star do go boom.
Later, guys.
Well, we're trying to figure out a topic, so everything is natural. So as soon as
I want to talk about football. That's what I want to talk about.
I talked to my friend Ronald, who I've talked about having on the pod before because he does a lot of stuff in terms of like boxing. He knows a lot of like boxers, and that's why I asked you. I was like, how strongly do you feel about your Terry versus Jerry take?
Not strong at all.
I know. But no. On that video, you sounded like you wanted to make a point, and then I was like, all right, Ron, watch this, and he was like, oh.
The thing I can make almost anything except soccer sound like something I care about, but there is an element.
There's a limit to how much bullshit can come out of his mouth before he even goes. Yeah.
That's the thing is, if you want to have a separate conversation with me, like off the pod on Kadeen, do you really believe what you said on the pod?
Oh no, I talk to you about this like every month, like once every month.
Right, and there's like yeah, nah. Dude, I don't agree with that at all.
I know I said it, but I'm just. I don't there's no conviction in it.
Right. There's like, all right, you guys are taking a side on something. I want to take the other side. That's just how it works.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was great. So 3, 2, 1.